I'm Norah O'Donnell. You're watching USA Today's Talking Your Tech.
Norah O'Donnell is the co-host of CBS This Morning, where she met us recently armed with a collection of her favorite gear.
Well, I'm still one of those people who is using two phones. You know, I've not given up the BlackBerry. This, of course, is now an antique. This BlackBerry, it's one of the older models. I think I've had it for maybe 2.5 or 3 years, but it works well. And recently upgraded to the iPhone 5. Yeah, so I use those. I also, of course, have my own personal MiFi here. You can see there's the passcode on the back, don't tell anyone. But this, of course, is handy when you're on the road, reporting from different places, and you don't have, Wi-Fi wherever that is. So actually, this has been incredibly useful.
So you're not running into Starbucks to use their internet?
No, I'm not. I mean, generally, you can't do that. Like I was covering the White House before, so you can be kind of on location somewhere. You can be in a bus, trying to keep up with the president. So the personal MiFi has been very, very helpful. So I love this device. This is my iPod Nano, which is probably the device I use just as frequently as my phones, because I connect it with my shoe here. This is my little Nike device here that's on the front of my shoes. And this records how much I run and what pace I'm at, how many calories, and then it all gets synced up on my Nano here. And then at the end, if you run an extra long distance, like a voice will come on. It used to be Lance Armstrong, but he's not on it anymore. But the nice thing is actually about this is that it records for you how much you've run, how fast you've run, how many calories, and then it uploads to the Nike website. So this to me, and this is probably a 1.5 years old, but I love this. This is one of my favorite devices.
Tell us about what the telecommute was like when you were living in Washington and working in New York and going on the plane all the time. How did you keep yourself busy?
Well, I was commuting every week back and forth to Washington, D.C. while my family was still in Washington, D.C. They have since moved up to New York. So generally speaking, I read on my Kindle books, even though I have an iPad, read news articles on my iPad. I'm still a fan of the newspaper. I'm still a big fan of reading, just the newspaper. But generally speaking, I would fly the US Airways shuttle and I would use the occasion to take a quick snooze.
Okay.
To unplug and take a quick snooze.
Are you texters or tweeters or Facebookers?
We're texters, yeah. We text one another. And then, and we also just email one another or chat on the phone. I do have some friends who I BBM with still, as a means of communication. And then there's, how it is. I mean, different people communicate in different ways. You email with your parents, you text with younger friends. I text with my younger sister. I BBM with another friend. So, you still are using different forms of communication to chat with different people.
And BBM for those who are not in the BlackBerry world?
Yes, that is still the way to communicate on BlackBerry, BBM, which in Washington, I don't know if this is in other places, but BBM is kind of favored because there's a belief among government officials and other people that it's not traceable, that it doesn't exist out there. So sometimes with sources, I use BBM.
So you would get hot stories sent to you. You get confirmations.
Sometimes some tips. Yeah, things that people don't want to say via email or a text that could be traceable. Now, I don't know, but the thought is that BBMs are not traceable.
Do you remember any hot story that came to you by BBM?
Not that I can tell you.
Not that I can. Okay.